It's 2025. You've slowly lost interest in gaming. New games seem too cookie cutter. The multiplayer games you grew up playing all the time are boring now. And it feels like you have to wait every 5 years or more to get a single player game worthy of your time. Sandfall Interactive's Clair Obscur Expedition 33 scratches the itch I gave up trying to scratch. For the first time, I feel good about the state of gaming. I feel like truly I had an immersive experience and great enough visuals and graphics that made me feel like I was actually playing what was promised to me as a next generation video game. This is my non-spoiler review on the indie turn-based fantasy RPG that is making waves, and rightfully so. It's the greatest thing I've ever played, down to the breathtaking visuals, the incredible cast of characters that actually matter, jaw-dropping French original soundtrack, and one of the greatest stories ever told in any form of entertainment media. This is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So let's start with the game overview and the context. Expedition 33 is a turn-based dark fantasy RPG set in a late 1800s to early 1900s French-inspired world, or better yet known as the Belle Epoque era. You can encounter this being called the Paintress, who essentially is the Thanos of this world, painting a number on a tower called the Monolith that wipes out everyone of that age out of existence in an event called the Gommage. The story picks up right before everyone of year 33 is turned to dust and the start of Expedition 33. A bunch of 32-year-olds spending their presumed last year of life try to stop the Paintress and end the Gommage event forever, thus saving humanity. Every year, if you haven't guessed it already, the number goes down by 1. So eventually, no one will be alive. And when you really think about it, that is a hook. And that's a hook that a lot of games simply do not have. This game is ultimately what I believe to be a love letter to the RPG genre. It is bits and pieces of inspiration from Final Fantasy, from Persona, I would argue some Elden Ring, Dark Souls. I would say anything like that, really. The core elements, you have visuals that are just incredible. It's unlike anything I have played since Skyrim on launch day. It blends every emotion and feeling into a beautiful and fictional world. Every location in this game feels different from the next. Whether you're exploring an underwater location, a setting full of vast, bright red terrain, or even a location that makes you look like you're in Elden Ring under the Erd Tree, there are so many scenic backgrounds that make you feel like you're truly part of the story and you're along for the ride. The combat mechanics and gameplay, it's just really what makes this game so much better than just a game, right? This just feels more. This feels like a full-on event. The hybrid combat system absolutely changes the game for turn-based RPGs. I love the traditional turn-based RPG games. I know a lot of people don't, but if you are not like me and you want more action, this was made for you. Every turn is dynamic. You can almost parry or dodge anything the game's enemies throw at you. The battle mechanics feel like Persona 5 if you've ever played that before, but then you have other timing mechanics in place like a game like Sekiro. In a combat where you are given action points, you are allowed to use those and spend them on certain abilities, or even use free aim, which is made famous by Persona. Weapons, Pictos, and Lumina allow you to customize your character into whatever type of fighting build you want them to be, and it's digestible but as in-depth of a character progression system as you could want. The story and the characters are honestly so touching. It is such a great job that they did. The story touches on heavy themes and focuses more on a gripping and emotional story rather than your traditional JRPG about friendship that takes place in a high school. And I'm just going to be honest, I love Persona 5 Royal. I still love playing it, but Expedition 33 feels like, despite its fantasy setting, an almost feel of a kid's movie that I've watched before, like a Chronicles of Narnia or Harry Potter or a Hunger Games. This feels more mature and more relatable for my age group. The characters' relationships feel real and authentic. They have humorous moments. They have incredibly heartbreaking moments. Every character is detailed and matters, and the game does a great job of getting you to care about every character individually, which is something I think a lot of games struggle with today. The story is so in-depth and immersive, and it has you feeling like an interactive movie. There really isn't much filler in this game. Everything does matter and is meaningful. The pacing of the story is fair. It all goes together completely like a puzzle. And at an average runtime of about 33 hours, depending on how you play, it gives you plenty of bang for your buck without the feeling of being on an infinite treadmill where there's no end in sight. As we know, a lot of JRPGs go on for about 100 hours. So there you go. The voice acting, in my opinion, is where this thing just completely sets itself apart. It's utterly incredible. It's led by a strong cast. Of course, you've heard of Andy Serkis before and Charlie Cox, but also Jennifer English and Ben Starr and Kirsty Ryder, Shala Nix, Maxence Cazorla, and of course, Rich Feeble. They leave no stone unturned when it comes to the emotion and the gripping feel and how real that these characters truly feel when you're playing the game. The original soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. I don't believe I have any bit of French lineage at all in my bloodline, but I can appreciate the French culture that exudes in this game, and mainly through the score. I think when you look at the different themes, the different location, the enemies you battle, the moments in the game, they really nailed the placement of each tune, as well as just how good each one really is. My final thoughts on the game are very simple. Gone are the days of being able to 100% video games like I used to when I was younger. Whether that was finding Borgia flags in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or Riddler trophies in Batman Arkham City, that type of collecting I have retired from. I'm strictly just a play the game once, through the story, have it savor, that experience. It just kind of pops up in your head. You feel good about it. You reminisce on it. And that's it. That's the type of gamer I am. Or so I thought. After finishing this story, I found myself collecting and doing all the nitty-gritty detailed post-game quests and side events to 100% the game that I can tell you I haven't done something like that since I was a little kid. This story, I don't believe is done either. My feeling is the title of Clair Obscur, right in front of Expedition 33, speaks volumes to maybe the potential of this being the new Final Fantasy of our time. This is so much hype around the game right now, just so much, and rightfully so. We're even getting a movie out of this IP at some point down the road. The reality is, I have loved video games my whole life, but I feel like I do love them. We have been left a bit underwhelmed in this next-gen era. Despite it being 2025, games don't appear to be getting much better graphically. I'm not obsessed with graphics, and I'm also not ignorant to the fact like Elden Ring, Hogwarts Legacy, Cyberpunk 2077, these games have come out and felt a part of the next gen game. However, for the most part, I think we've been sold a half-truth in gaming. Soon the PS6 and whatever they want to call the next Xbox will come out, and they will tell us basically the PS5's capacity has been reached, and when I don't really believe it is. If you really play games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Witcher 3, you wonder why those games look so much better than about 75% of today's games when they come out. They came out a long time ago. So why is that? Well, now all gaming really feels like is it's just free to play microtransactions, battle royales, remakes, remasters, with a hint of a nice original game here and there. Just as guilty as anyone in wanting remakes too, I truly am. But the video game industry has essentially used their poor performance for their benefit. Have they essentially exhausted us with cookie cutter games that don't stick with you after playing? And then ultimately, I think they have pushed us back into our own pool of nostalgia. When you really think about it, I was stoked to play Oblivion Remastered. I'm sure a lot of people were. The game looks great. It still has an old school janky combat we all loved. That said, when I started up Expedition 33, I forgot about Oblivion. My childhood nostalgia no longer was powerful enough to stop me from booting up Expedition 33. Once I had immersed myself in that game, that was the game I was going to play. And I had passed the 100-hour threshold of gameplay. Keep in mind, I had played about 50 hours of Oblivion, and as soon as I gave Expedition 33 a shot, I didn't play another game. I still haven't. Expedition 33 is a game I find myself thinking about every single day. I now even find myself having hope because of a small group of people at Sandfall Interactive, some contractors, an incredible group of voice actors and actresses came together and made what I believe could be the start of a gaming revival. It's not to say that there aren't good games out there, but when other bigger companies see the success this has, maybe they'll learn from the mistakes that they've been making and build off this, and Expedition 33 will start a renewed renaissance in gaming for those who come after. One thing is for sure. If you have a PS5, you have an Xbox, you have a PC, and have not given this game a spin, you are missing out, and you need to get in on the action. The game is a masterpiece, and everyone who was a part of this game just showed the world that gaming doesn't have to be a cookie cutter or formulaic thing to be a fun and enjoyable experience. Nor does it have to do all those things to sell. Congrats, by the way, to the entire team that created a generational game, in my opinion, on the recent milestone of 3.3 million copies sold, not played, in 33 games. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button, drop a comment, let me know if this steered you one way or another. Enjoy the game, tomorrow comes.